First, I'll tell them get your marketing right. Particularly, what makes a big business. When I say marketing, that encompasses your offer, your business model, and everything. If you get that right, I believe strongly that what makes a big business, or what makes a business successful, and the one that fails is the business model. So you must get your pricing right. Like it's extremely important. You don't just, most businesses, and because of what we do, we have worked in more than 60 different industries. So we get to see this a lot. Business entrepreneurs, startups just have an idea. The next thing they want to do is, hey, boom, let's just go and, do stuff without having, without sitting down to get their marketing right.
Hey everyone, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of The Inventive Journey. I'm your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups and 7- and 8-figure businesses, as well as a CEO and founder of Miller IP Law, where we help startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. If you ever need help with yours, feel free to go to strategymeeting.com and grab some time to chat. Now, today we have another great guest on the podcast, Johnson Emmanuel, and Johnson was started a life as born in Africa, raised there, grew up there, learning to work hard in order to be successful, and seeing that that's one of the drivers of success. Got into investing for a period of time, then went through the internet boom and bust in 2000. In 2004, got into a business course for providing service, and then after that, in 2008, started a small business, and then 2016 got going with a bit of what he's doing today, and he'll jump into that a bit more. So, with that much as intro to the podcast, welcome on to the podcast, Johnson.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on the show today.
Absolutely. So I gave kind of that brief high-level run through of your journey, but now let's go back in time a little bit. So tell us a little bit about growing up in Africa and kind of how your journey got started.
So basically, I'm an African. I was born in Africa, even though I live in the US currently. So what happened was that in 2000, there was this boom of .com boom in 2000. So I was studying the internet, trying to find out how to make a living from the internet when the .com boom happened. But the thing is, most people in Africa did not really appreciate the .com boom. Like, it didn't make sense to a lot of people that you could sleep at night and wake up to have some credits in your bank account. It didn't make sense to them. So in 2004, I got professionally into the internet making money thing. Then we're getting some clients. In 2008, I felt it was time to stop working with clients who are based in Africa. My reason was simple. One, I wanted to earn the US dollars. Two, I felt most people in Africa did not quite understand what it meant, using the internet to grow their business or get customers. It didn't make sense to them. So you walk in to have a meeting with a client, after conversation, after having lengthy discussion with a client, most times what you're going to hear is, I'm not sure this is going to work. So it was pretty difficult at the time. That was 2008. But now, as we speak, as now everything has changed. But in 2008, it was that difficult. So another challenge I faced then was PayPal. As I speak to you until this moment, PayPal does not allow most African countries, including Nigeria, to receive payment. So you can only use PayPal to buy stuff, but you can't use it to receive payment. So that was the challenge I had then. So most of my clients would have to pay me through Western Union money transfer. So, and imagine when somebody wants to pay you, the person has to drive some kilometers away to go use Western Union money transfer to make payment to you. And not everybody can do it. So naturally, I was losing clients. So I decided that I was going to do something about it. Boom, it was time for me. I felt it was time to go incorporate in the US. So through contact and friends, I had to travel to the United States. And in 2008, 2009, and then we started, everything was good. We could have a bank account, we could operate and stuff like that. So we were working in 2000 and the business was doing well, but we took off very, very well. Like we took off in 2016. That's when we started growing like crazy.
Jumping just back just for a second. So the 2008, you said, okay, we were getting you rode the internet boom for a period of time. You're offering those services, you're helping clients out. And then you're saying, okay, it makes it difficult to pick up clients or otherwise have that, because if they can only if I can only use PayPal to buy things, and you can't really have that exchange of currency. So you decided so when you decided, okay, I need to make a change or adjustment, did you move over to the US, or did you have a partner in the US and you stayed in Africa, or kind of
No,
how did you go
okay.
about setting that up?
I had a partner in the US. I eventually left to over to the US. So I
Hmm.
stayed in the US from that 2008, 2009. I stayed in the US, and then where of course I live currently. So I shut up
Hmm.
between the US and Africa right now. So I had to do that, and I'm grateful I took that decision because a lot of people at the time were telling me that it was going to be a disastrous decision. But
Hmm.
I just know how to listen to my goals. So I listened to my gods, and the right thing to do to me then was to just go to the US and do this stuff. So from the US, we started growing. We could get clients. We could work with clients from all over the world. So boom. And 2008, 16, we grew. We started growing like crazy. Yeah, we
Hmm.
were doing well from between 2009 and 2016. We were doing well, but not as much as I wanted us to do. But in 2016, that was when we kicked in. And I was like, yeah, this is where where I've always wanted us to be. So what I always tell people is, if you see the success of 2016, don't forget that the work started in 2004. So it looks like an overnight success, but it's not actually an overnight success.
So now one question, and I know I keep going back just a little bit, but just filling in a couple or interesting points for at least myself. So you say, okay, I need to be in the US. I want to do that. How did you make the initial, the partner that you partnered up with and work with in the US that helped you
Mhm.
get these kind of launch and transition? How did you connect up with them? Was it a friend that had previously moved there? Was it someone you met online? Kind of how did you make that connection that aided in that transition?
Okay, I at the time I was always reading a blog post. There's this Australian guy who lives in the US. I was
Mm,
already reading the blog post that we met. We started having this community. So there's a Warrior Forum at the time. I'm not sure if it's still existing now, but I don't visit them again. There's this Warrior Forum. We always talk. We meet. We exchange ideas. We're always chatting. From there, one day I was just telling him, look, dude, this is the challenge I'm having right now. So like, okay, why don't we partner? Since you have the expertise and I live in the US, I could
mm.
make things move fast in the US. So we had to partner ourselves together. So I brought in the expertise while he handles the financial side of things.
Okay. No, it definitely makes sense. So now you did that. You partner. Or how long did you partner with them, or how long did you once you got into the U.S. did you do things with them?
No, when I partnered with him, we partnered until 2011.
Hmm.
Then we had to say, hey, dude, thanks for your help. I appreciate your help. Thank you very much. So, like, oh, dude, you settled now. You feel comfortable. You can run things on yourself. I said, sure, I can. So we're good like that. And that's how we went.
Mm. So now, what made you, just out of curiosity, and you touched on it a bit, what made you decide to, hey, let's go our separate ways? Was it, hey, he was busy and doing other things, or you wanted to go in a different direction, or kind of, because, you initially came over here, partnered up with them, did that. Was it just a matter, what kind of made you guys say, hey, we'll split ways and you go your way and I'll go my way?
We didn't have any issue. The guy is a great guy. We still speak until this day. But
Mm,
my goal was for partnering at the time. I felt I wanted someone to hold me, to teach me what I didn't know, like about the financial side of things, the tax side of things. So that is where he has his own expertise. So I didn't understand the US market very well at the time. And he
mm.
does. He has some basic understanding of the US market. So I had to stay with him. We had to partner within that period. I was never within me, I knew that the partnership was not going to be for life. It was going at some point we're going to, go our separate way. But I wasn't sure where, when we're going to go
Mm.
our separate way. So that's it.
So now, so you said, okay, now I'm gonna go my own way. I'm gonna set my own thing and continue on.
Mhm.
So as you're doing that, how did that go? Was it continuing to go well? Were you able to continue to be successful? To take it, was it an adjustment where you didn't have a partner or someone to help, offset skills and whatnot, or kind of how did that transition go as continuing to build now that you're kind of split off and on your own?
Now, basically, before I split it off with my friend, I've already
Mm,
built relationship. Like I'm a relationship guy. Like
mm,
I can reach anyone I want to reach. If I cannot reach the person directly, trust me, within my network, I have someone who can reach the person. So
mm,
because I had that rich contact and connection, I knew that even if we went our separate ways, I was going to be fine. Initially, it was for the first 6 months, it was a bit rocky, but he was
mm,
always there to provide support. Like he was always there to provide support to help me, get through. And then
mm,
2011, I felt good. I told him, dude, I think I can do things now. So thanks for your help.
Hmm. Okay, so now you kind of say, okay, I can do things on my own. I've got the connections, I've got things set up, and I can figure out how it's going. Since you've then branched off and then up or ongoing even 2016, how is that? How are things gone so far? Does it continue to build? Has there been any pivots or kind of where is that brought or how's that brought you to where you're at today?
Okay, actually, where we are now, when we started running our agency from that 2011, 2015, 2016, we took off. The agency was doing really well. About 2000, 2020, last year, during the lockdown, I started feeling like I think I'm tired of the agency kind of thing. Maybe it's time to begin to look into technology, building technological tool related to marketing tool. So that's where I'm trying to move our agency from just an agency to a marketing technology company. So
Hmm.
that's how we've moved, that's why how we are trying to transit and navigate into or pivot into other areas.
Okay, no, makes perfect or makes sense. So now saying that kind of brings us up to where you're at today. Now kind of looking at the next, 6 to 12 months, where do you see things headed? Kind of what's the next steps?
Well, right now we have a lot of clients we've signed contract with that will stay with us for the next 3 years. So we're still going to be working with clients. We're still going to accept some clients selectively. We're going to have shorter contracts with them, maybe 6 months, 12 months with them. The goal is still to help them while we gradually navigate into or pivot into becoming a technology company.
Okay, no, makes sense. So it sounds like an addition, a fun direction to be in, kind of adjust, or continuing to adjust and pivot and shift towards becoming more and more of a technology company. Well, now as we kind of start to wrap up, kind of gone through your journey and a little bit of where you're heading in the future. I always ask two questions towards the end of the podcast, so we'll go ahead and dive to those now. So the first question I always ask is, along your journey, what was the worst business decision you ever made, and what did you learn from it?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I think I've made quite a lot, and I'm not sure which one is the worst right now. But
Mm,
what I think was, and I see a lot of marketing agency do it. Was the worst decision I made was my reluctance or our reluctance as a company to begin to spend earlier on marketing ad. So you run a marketing agency, and then
mm,
you find it difficult to spend money to acquire customer because you feel that you can use content marketing, which is true, you can actually get it, but it makes things a bit far, and you're literally allowing Google to control everything. But when you begin to
mm.
spend money on ad, you are in control. You manage everything. You dictate your future. So that's the worst mistake we made. I think we made. But the way we corrected that was to, hey, dude, I woke up one morning, I called all my team together. I told them, dude, we're going to kill this. We're going to start spending money on ad tomorrow
Mm,
morning. They'd be like, hey, come on. Yes, we're starting that tomorrow. Like, is it
mm.
not too sudden? I said, no, it's not too sudden. And that has helped our business to explode.
Oh, cool. No, it definitely is exciting. So something to make or something to learn from. And I certainly get where you're coming from. I mean, there's kind of two trains of thought, right? One in the sense that if you get into paid advertising, then you're always having to pay for leads versus if you can do SEO or you can do otherwise
Mm-hmm.
organic searching, then you're, not, or you can do social and those type of things, then you're able
Yes.
to generate that without having to pay. And but by the flip side, as soon as they switch their algorithms, as soon as they change something, you can go from a lot of free search traffic into nothing at all. So there's definitely a balance in figuring out what level of control versus what level you want to pay for that control type of thing. So definitely makes
Exactly.
sense.
Personally, I just like to be in control all the time.
Hmm. So now jumping maybe to the second question I always ask in a podcast, which is if you're talking to somebody that's just getting into a startup or a small business, what'd be the one piece of advice you'd give them?
First, I'll tell them get your marketing right. Particularly, what makes a big business. When I say marketing, that encompasses your offer, your business model, and everything. If you
Hmm.
get that right, I believe strongly that what makes a big business, or what makes a business successful, and the one that fails is the business model. So you must get your pricing right. Like is extremely important. Most businesses, and because of what we do, we have worked in more than 60 different industries. So we get to see this a lot. Business entrepreneurs, startups just have an idea. The next thing they want to do is, hey, boom, let's just go and, do stuff. Without having, without sitting down to get their marketing right. So you must get that. You must get your business model right. How are you going to make money? It's very, very, very important. If you get your pricing well, you get your offer well, and you get good copy, and you can run ad well, you're going to win. If you don't, then a competitor with a crappy product is going to win you.
No, I definitely, I think that, one thing that's interesting is sometimes you think, hey, if I build a great product, if it's just awesome, everybody will be pounding down my doors to get to it, which is occasionally the case, but 99% of the time you're going to have that marketing, that sales, that outreach, the ability to actually let customers that may think your product is awesome know about it. And if you never reach them, they're not going to be able to buy it because they don't even know. So I think incorporating in that marketing plan as far and how you're going to reach customers and that outreach definitely is something that should be considered earlier on rather than waiting till after you try and get everything done and then trying to figure out how to actually sell this. So
I absolutely agree with you. Big businesses, startups should focus on day one. One thing, I see this a lot as somebody who works with startup. They spend a lot of money with developers. Like they could spend lots of money on development and research, R&D, and all those kind of things. When it's time for marketing, that's where they want to say, let's cut the budget. Let's cut the budget. And marketing, if you build the greatest product in the world and your marketing is faulty, you're not going to win. And even big organizations are saying it. They are beginning to buy, big companies right now are buying audiences of smaller companies because they understand that if they have a market, they can sell, they can build and sell. And that's what I think all startups should do. Before you even launch, you should begin to do marketing. That's just the truth.
No, I definitely agree with you on that point. So, well, now as we start to wrap up the podcast, if people want to reach out to you, they want to find out more about your services, they want to be a client, a customer, they want to be an employee, they want to be an investor, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to reach out and find out more?
Go to johnsonemanuel.com. Or you can also go to Twitter, just type in on the search bar, type in Johnson Emmanuel. You're going to see my smiling face popping at you. And then you can also go to Havanzer.com. That's our agency, Havanzer, HAVNZER.com. You're going to find us, doing lots of stuff like that. Just Google Johnson Emmanuel, you see lots of stuff that you can consume. And you can reach out to me.
Awesome. Well, I definitely encourage everybody to reach out, find out more, and use your services if they're in need of them. So, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up the podcast. And thank you, Johnson, for coming on. Now, for all of you that are listeners, if you have your own journey to tell and you want to be a guest on the podcast, feel free to go to inventiveguest.com and apply to be on the show. Love to share a journey. Also, a couple more things. If you're a listener, one, make sure to click subscribe on your podcast player so you know when all of our awesome episodes come out. And two, leave us a review so new people can find us. Last but not least, if you ever need help with patents, trademarks, or anything else with your business, reach out to us at Miller IP Law by just going to strategymeeting.com. Thank you again, Johnson, and wish the next leg of your journey even better than the last.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.